Good afternoon. I'm Shawn Yao and this is One News Now. One House leader is pushing for an almost absolute ban on the substitution option for candidates of political parties. House Deputy Speaker Rufus Rodriguez says substitution should be prohibited unless the original candidate dies or gets disqualified before the elections. The congressman will also be filing a separate measure requiring incumbent officials to resign from office or be automatically resigned once they file their COCs. Rodriguez says this will give COMELEC more time to screen candidates and prepare for the upcoming elections. And just around 1 month after the probe into the Health Department's alleged misuse of COVID-19 funds, senators have trained their sights on the Social Welfare Department, which, like the DOH, awarded a little-known company billions of pesos in contracts. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez gives us the front seat to the story.
Is a formerly-like scandal brewing at the Department of Social Welfare and Development? That's what senators wanted to know when they grilled the agency for awarding the rollout of 50 billion pesos worth of ayuda to a nearly bankrupt company.
May mga nagmanipula na gamitin ng StarPay na isang naluluging kumpanya. Ipinagkatiwalaan ng 52 billion pesos pundo ng gobyerno kahit na nagdeklarang lugi ito ng 26 million peso noong 2019. Maliwanag na mayroong nakinabang sa pundo na para sana sa ayuda.
The company in question is StarPay, an e-wallet provider which Pacquiao claimed had a paid-up capital of only 62,000 pesos. StarPay has already denied this, saying they have capital of at least 100 million pesos. Still, senators call it a never-heard-of brand and question why DSWD didn't just go with more established players like GCash or PayMaya.
Ang tanong dito ito ba formalin ng DSWD o hindi? Kumpanyang nalugi at ngayon ay may 50 billion na nilaan na pondo para sa kanilang operations habang meron naman 42 million subscribers ang GCash.
At tingin ko, Madam Chair, mas mahigit pa ito sa formalin.
DSWD Secretary Rolly Bautista explained they sought help from the Bangko Sentral in choosing the e-wallet providers.
Nagkaroon po tayo ng BOA, ang DSWD with the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Ang kinalabasan din po noon ay yung terms of reference na ito po yung kasunduan sa ating mga financial service providers.
Pacquiao, who first made the expose on StarPay in July, claimed it failed to fully disburse the cash aid. He said that while it got the contract to serve 7 million beneficiaries, only 800,000 downloaded its app. In defense, DSWD said the rest of the ayuda were given out manually. Meanwhile, Senator Ping Lacson pointed out the agency's poor planning is what caused delays in the ayuda distribution. It wasn't until they started distributing that they found out nearly 70% of the beneficiaries have either no phones or wrong numbers on record.
Sa halip na meron tayong magandang pagpaplano na inalam mo na natin kung ilan yung talagang mayroong capability na gumamit ng mobile phone, nahuli tayo, nalaman lang natin nung nagdi-distribute na.
The Senate Finance Committee has asked DSWD to submit a report detailing where the pandemic aid last year went. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
Bacolod City and Negros Occidental are now under moderate risk for COVID-19. The Health Department lowered the classification of the areas from high risk due to declining attack rates. It dropped to 21.5% in Bacolod City and 8.12% in Negros Occidental during the past week. This figure refers to the percentage of an at-risk population that contracts the virus on a daily average. Bacolod City received over 21,000 COVID-19 vaccines on Sunday, while Negros Occidental welcomed more than 130,000 jabs. We'll be back with more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Television is still the top source of political news for Filipinos. Based on the latest Pulse Asia survey, 91% of Filipino adults get their political news from TV. 49% of respondents are counting on the radio, while 48% consume their political news from the internet. Some 37% of total respondents get theirs from relatives, while a quarter learn the news from friends. Only about 3% of Filipino adults said that newspapers are still their source of political news. One American pharmaceutical is bringing in the first COVID-19 pill, which is expected to cut hospitalization risks by about half. More details in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
This little red pill is molnupiravir, Merck's new antiviral pill. The experimental medication has been shown to reduce the risk of hospitalization or death by about half. That's according to one late-stage study of adults with mild to moderate cases. It's the promise of a drug that's easy to get and take at home that has people excited.
You can potentially have it at home, which is the thing. If you can keep people out of hospital, particularly when they are infectious, because they're infected, but you can give them something that reduces their risks by at least half. Even in those high-risk groups, it's still, thankfully, under 20% of people end up in hospital. But if you can halve that, well and good. Still means 7 out of every 100 people at risk who get infected end up in hospital.
So how does it work? By inhibiting the replication of SARS-CoV-2 through lethal mutagenesis, which is a mechanism that reproduces the virus's genetic material to make mistakes.
This is all about catching people when they have an infection and they don't have that overwhelming immune response. So you have to catch them before that point. So that testing and identification of people is really critical. And then you have to have a way of catching the people that don't respond to that medication.
A 5-day course of molnupiravir will cost $700 per patient, according to media reports. Are there side effects? Interim analysis found no increase in adverse events. Only 1.3% of participants taking molnupiravir quit the therapy due to an adverse event, compared to 3.4% in the placebo group. Still, molnupiravir will need to be assessed in a much larger group of patients to properly determine its safety. Merck plans to make 10 million treatment courses by the end of this year, with more doses slated for 2022. Finally, it won't replace vaccinations, which remains the most effective shield against COVID.
Let's take a quick look at today's other top stories. The NDRRMC reports 9 fatalities due to severe tropical storm Maring as of 8 a.m. They were killed by landslides and flash floods in Benguet, Cagayan, and Palawan. At least 2 people were injured, while 11 are still missing. The Ombudsman sees no graft in the $120 million advertisement deal between the Tourism Department and PTV. Because of this, former Tourism Chief Juan Dateo, her brother Ben Tulfo, and PTV officials have been absolved of any charges. Recall that the Commission on Audit flagged the deal for incomplete documents and conflict of interest. Transport groups are asking for a fare hike as another big-time oil price increase takes effect. Gasoline has gone up by 1 peso and 30 centavos per liter, diesel by 1 peso and 50 centavos, and kerosene by 1 peso and 45 centavos. Clean fuel, Petrogas, Filipina Shell, and Sea Oil all announced the price hike on Monday. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.